it'd be tough for me to give you a short answer, but the action clock would be simply something to promote the athletes from either clinches against the wall, clinches out in the open, or in a takedown situation to create more action, or to either separate or stand them after a short period of time. Short period of time could be anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds is sufficient. All sports are controlled by time. Hockey, you had to have that puck across the halfway across the ice at a certain time. Basketball, same way. Football, you have to have a play off every 30 seconds. You got to look at time is always there. So simply by incorporation of time, again, this idea that I have right now, it's a game changer because of the audience. The audience does not understand. Yeah, I mean, it would get him off the ground, and then I mean, even if the guy takes him down again, at least it's more action than what you're seeing now. Each time that he's got to close that distance, get past hands, knees, and feet, stuff like that, so that each time he's taking a risk, at least to get to a clinch, get to a takedown, and you'll see a much more action-packed event. But then also again, I'm talking about the American audience. There's just so much more to it there. For the American audience, they pump in music as things get to lows, where they start putting in this little music that starts off kind of very low tempo, but it gets higher, goes dun 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 dun, and people, before they realize it, they're actually starting to dance in their seats, and they don't even understand it because of the subliminal type of messaging that has come. Go to a movie theater. When you go to a movie theater, they have all these subliminal messages that your naked eye does not see it. But then all of a sudden it's like going, honey, I think I'm ready for a box of popcorn. I would like a refreshing beverage, because they are implementing commercials in certain types of advertisement, and that the naked eye doesn't see, but it registers to the mind, and all of a sudden it's like going, I would like to get a Snickers bar, or I'd like to go get some hot buttered popcorn, or I would like a refreshing beverage. These are already being done. These are things that are already being done in other industries. They just need to break them into the UFC. Now they'll see a spike in maybe concession sales. They might see more people being entertained and more pay-per-views, because their arenas are being sold out because of this exciting factor, because of the grappling portion. And again, when I say grappling, I'm going against me, the athlete, that I am the grappler, but I know how to make the sports more exciting. Buried 3 points, 4 points, buried weight, not buried weight. I go, you've got the best known referee in the business right here, John McCarthy. John knows the way that I think. I go, as I'm listening to you guys thinking right now, I go, Big John McCarthy is in the ring. He looks over at me. He goes, are you ready? I give the old thumbs up. He asks me if I'm ready, and he gives the old proverbial, let's get it on, because he's watched too many, he's listened to too many Marvin Gaye's record albums. I go, I drop down to a 4-point stance, and I do the fastest crab crawl he has ever seen in his life, across that cage floor, at all times having either 3 or 4 points on that ground, and they're bearing weight because I'm crab crawling there, so they're always bearing weight, and I'm able to glide right into my opponent and then take him down and finish him off. And they're all sitting there stunned. And John just comes up there and goes, that's why he's known as Dan Severn, because he knows how to manipulate the rules, because he's an athlete. He's a competitor. And that's why I tell people that you've always had all these non-athletes that make up these rules. The sport has been around enough, and there's enough of these former athletes, former competitors, that they're not doing nothing. They're looking for jobs to be referees. They're looking for jobs to be judges, because they have a background in sports. They know thresholds of pain. This guy's down there. He's being smacked and smacked and smacked. He goes, that sucks. The referees are too slow at stopping a match, or they're allowing it to go on too long. And that's where I think they need a lot more of these former competitors as judges, as referees, because they have been there. They understand what is taking place. perfect example of right there of just using voice work and heel. I mean, but then Conor McGregor was probably the biggest and best heel in the industry. If you go back to Conor McGregor's background, Conor McGregor in the beginning, he was just happy to be in the UFC. He was happy to have just won. He was happy to be off Ireland's version of welfare. But fast forward, look at him today. He owns a couple of different mansions in a couple of different countries. He had a whiskey company. He's got this, that going on. To where now he's doing stupid things now. Well, again, with this recent merger, what's going to happen because of this recent merger? You're going to see more UFC people that will be able to prolong their careers in the professional wrestling world. Oh, easily. Because if Conor McGregor is already was this heel character in UFC, why can't he do that over at the WWE? Oh, he easily could. He go out there and do his walking, his little strut thing that he does, goes out there because remember how Vince McMahon would, when he was in a suit and tie, and how he would do his strut to the ring. Now you have Conor McGregor. You can have Conor McGregor come around and just doing his own thing, and you'd see a mockery of Vince is doing his. Now you got Conor McGregor doing his. I think that the audience would delight in something like that. This merger is going to help more UFC cage fighters prolong their career into professional wrestling, but you're not going to see professional wrestlers go here and prolong their career into UFC. It's not going to happen. First off, I mean, the Logan brothers are, to me, again, I look at they're good business. They're good businessmen is what they are. Yep. They're looking at it. They have created an opportunity, and they do take on roles of heels, stuff like that, for promotion type sake, because it's all about promotions. It's kind of like going, who wants to watch a fight when I go, oh, you're such a good guy. And as I go, oh, you're such a good guy. They want to know that, no, doggone it, I don't, we don't like each other, and we're going to go out there, we're going to smash each other, blah, blah, blah. And the more that you can get that pay-per-view, more people interested in that pay-per-view, more dollars you're going to make. I mean, that's just all about promotions. It's, the Logan brothers have done they've done really well for themselves, and they've given a lot of these MMA fighters that they've gone up against, they've given them their biggest payday ever. So in some aspects, the UFC ought to be ashamed of themselves that someone from a different background is given their former champions or former personalities bigger opportunities, bigger purses. I can't really tell you any solid numbers here right now, but from different things that I have read, the comparisons that they're making is they're making comparisons with UFC with others promoting sporting products like football, basketball, baseball, and hockey, and they're looking at how much of the money that comes in actually goes to the athletes. And there's a kind of a percentile basis as how it kind of it works its way down, and that UFC, based on those numbers, UFC is actually the lowest, for what money actually goes to the athletes. Now, again, I can't say that that's solid. That's the way it goes, just from different things that I've read. That's what the comparison is, to where, the UFC does make a lot of money off of each of the shows. There's a lot of cost factors in putting on these shows, especially when you look at they're doing them all over the world now, more and more, and they're trying to build more of their training facilities in different parts of the world, so that they know they're starting to realize there's some wonderful athletes in Africa, there's some wonderful athletes in Asia, there's wonderful athletes. So they're trying to get these different buildings set up in different areas, so that they can help these athletes, help them or become aware of who they are, so that it's a new personality that they can put into their mix. But the actual, I'd say the ownership of has probably done the best financially. But proper ratio of how much money should go to the athletes versus, the actual corporation. From everything I've read, there is an imbalance. So something should happen there. But then also, what about athletes that have been hurt in the name of competition? See, that's one aspect. Is there should be some type of a fighter's fund, in the sense that football and all the sports, if you get hurt in a football game, you get hurt in hockey, you get hurt. They all have something where it helps out that athlete. So there should be something there. Now, Brock Lesnar has tested positive on a few different occasions for performance-enhancing drugs. And yet, the UFC did a waiver for him. Why did they do a waiver for him and yet nobody else? I'll watch it, because as I watch it, I'm thinking, I'm watching stupidity. And do I look at this as a sport? No, this is not a sport. This is where did this come from in the first place? Where did power slapping come from? It's something that was derived from Russia originally. So you think of a bunch of Russians popping down some vodka and then having some disagreements, and then coming up with a game like Power Slap. But I look at this is not a competition, or because I should say it might be a competition of boneheadedness, no defense, and you're taking trauma to the head. And I'm like going, we live in a stupid enough world now. Why contribute to more stupidity? Because these men and women that are involved in these power slap type of things, I'll totally support it. I'd even want to be a referee and maybe one of the judges for that event. And I hope I'm being as cynical as possible as I say this, because that's called satire. I'm sure. I mean, it's okay. It's like watching an accident. If you hear a car crash, everyone looks over. It's that's all it is. It's a car crash. It's seeing two drunken people get into a fight. Everyone's going to watch something like this but does anyone want to be in it? No. But will they watch it? Sure they will. So will power slap be successful? Sure it will. Because again, people will watch it. Well, I mean, when you start, the crossing line is anytime that you start going after a family. When you start going after, when you start doing like mama jokes and stuff like that, that's crossing the line. I mean, to me, it's like going, if they're saying something about you, that's one thing. But if they start going after, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your wife, your girlfriend, whatever. I mean, that's kind of like stepping over the line. It goes, say it about me, be man up and say it to me, say about whatever my antics or my falling downs that I might have, that you can rub my nose into it. But when you start going to other things, it's kind of like crossing the line. The sad part again, I'll say that definitely is on the rise, what you're seeing there, but because we have too many cowards today. What I say about cowards is we have keyboard warriors. I'm going back quite a few years here now, before the technology, when I was doing some of these interviews, but they were going through the internet and everything had to be typed. There was no facial being done. It was all just typing type of things. And And basically, I just, as I was talking to the person, they were typing in my response, and I could see it being typed, and then someone would be counter typing, and I'm like going, keyboard warriors. I go, anyone is tough. Hiding behind a keyboard. Climb into that cage with me. Look at me and know that Big John McCarthy is about to say, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" And then let's get it on. I go, there are a lot of cowards that they love the keyboard. They like the fact that they can sit back there and throw crap at people without any repercussions. Early on, early in the very beginning of my professional wrestling career, I used to wrestle twice on the same card, and no one knew it. In the first half of the card, I would show up and I would wrestle underneath a mask. I had a hood, a bodysuit, gloves, footwear. No one knew, did not look anything like me. And again, I had Paddy and tour. I look like I weighed well over 300 pounds. And I used to go out there as Tubby Tanaka. But then I would wrestle then, and that was I'd wrestle that match, and I'd always be before the intermission, and then I would wrestle after the intermission as Dan Severn. Having 6 losses, I mean, he's got to realize that how many more chances is he going to be getting before they give him his walking papers. Combination a couple things is okay. I'll look at it from a company's perspective that and stay behind the statement that I can only have you lose so many times to where people are like, well, why book him again? He's going to probably lose. You can, from a promotion standpoint, you can make anybody a winner. It's all about the matchmaking. If you want to, you can feed him a couple guys to actually get his record back up towards a little bit more of the balance type of side. Anything can be done to enhance, because the only thing you can't do is control the actual match. Yeah. So, like I said, they could feed him a couple lesser than opponents and get a couple more wins, and that might help lift his own spirits in the process there as well. Or it might be is his time ran the distance. There's just a point that an athlete they don't want to train more. They don't want to do all this more. They've used up their competition juice. They're no longer the competitor. They're timed. There comes a point in time when you have to put somebody out to pasture. I'm going to use a farm boy analogy right now. You were good, and we used you out there as that big stud that was out there the entire time. But you're not as the way what you were. It's time to put you out to pasture. We'll keep you around, feed you, water you, but we're just going to put you out to pasture. We're not going to put you out there to fight anymore. Love this guy. He's very entertaining, and but he wins a lot, and he's a fan favorite. Again, just from what I just said, he's a fan favorite. He interacts well with the crowd. He entertains the crowd. He does things deliberately to entertain the crowd. So, I mean, I look at that. He already has a following, and his following can only get bigger and bigger because he does it more from a babyface perspective. Conor McGregor does it from a heel. So again, I'd be thinking that Dana White should be thinking this. And again, I know Vince McMahon would be thinking this way, and I know that those two men, they talk together on things. So why can't there be a match between those two somewhere down the road? Or is Conor McGregor too big for Paddy? Or again, I'm not sure of the weight classes.